Hey guys, Tara and Phil here for Polygon, and we're at E3 this week. We just saw a game that I've personally been looking forward to for a very long time, Horizon Zero Dawn. I have a lot of thoughts on it. I want to know what you think.
I was going to say the same. I've also been really excited ever since they announced this at last year's E3. I'm a really big fan of the Monster Hunter franchise, and this to me looked like Monster Hunter, but with way better graphics, a lot more action-y feel to it, and giant robots, and that's really cool.
That's really all you need to say is giant robots.
But the question is, they announced it. It looks awesome. How does it actually play? We got to go hands-on with it.
Yeah, so I was talking about this on our live stream, but it was one of those games that when they demo it for you, it seems like a little overwhelming.
Yeah.
Like you might not be able to pick it up very easily when you actually go hands-on with it yourself. But I actually, when I went hands-on with it, I thought the opposite. I thought this is actually incredibly simpler than I thought it would be. I don't know if you had the same reaction.
Yeah, it was actually really easy considering that they threw us into the middle of the game. We didn't play through any tutorials or anything, but it was incredibly easy to get into it. The controls felt very intuitive, and you're given so many options for fighting these giant robots, and I think that's huge. It just felt really fun immediately, like flipping through my different types of arrows, and you have like a rope launcher to kind of tie robots down, and all these different ways of helping to take them out.
Yeah, it seems like the robot combat specifically is what's going to separate or differentiate this from pretty much every other open world action RPG out there. There's a lot, I will say, involved in the robot combat, but it's kind of as simple or as involved as you make it. Like you could just shoot at a robot over and over again in the same spot and kill it. It's going to take way longer. But the game kind of wants you to be strategic about it. If you shoot like in the tendons of the robot instead of just like at its outer plated armor, it'll do a lot more damage. There are like the robots. I guess what I'm trying to say is the robots are essentially made of like tons of different components, and the robot reacts differently based on which component you shoot out. So you could like shoot out its disc launcher and then go and steal it for yourself and use it against the robot, which is one thing I thought was really cool.
Yeah, or you can there's robots who have these fuel packs on their back, and you can shoot at those with a flame arrow, and that lights it on fire, and then eventually the robot explodes, and probably takes out some of its buddy robots with it, which is pretty cool. There's a lot of strategy to the fights, and it'll be interesting to see how that plays out over a full game. But in the demo, I found it incredibly satisfying.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a lot easier, and I hate to use the word easy because I feel like that has kind of a bad connotation, but it's easier to get the hang of than I thought it would be.
It's approachable. I wouldn't call it easy though, because the one thing I will add is that I don't know if you died during the demo. I died.
I did not.
You're way better than I am. It's true.
Sorry, Phil.
The robots, when they hit you, they do a lot of damage.
Oh yeah.
So it is very much a game. It's approachable. It's easy to understand how it all works, but you're also in a lot of danger, and you need to play very carefully.
Definitely. Zooming out from the robot combat, because that is a large part of it, but it's not everything. I just need to emphasize what a beautiful game this is.
Yeah.
Like the environments, I don't know what, I guess we were playing on PS4, but it looked absolutely gorgeous. One thing I also want to point out, aside from the music being really good, which is another thing that I noticed during our demo, one really cool thing that I wanted to mention is this idea of mounting stuff. So in the game, there are these mechanical bulls. Sounds weird when you say it like that. There are mechanical bulls, and you can basically like tie, it's essentially a lasso to them, and then you go and override their mechanics, basically like hacking them and turning them good instead of evil. And then you can mount them and ride them around the map, and that's how you fast travel in the game. I thought that was super unique and really awesome.
And it's cool too, because once you have mounted one of these robots, you can kind of whistle for it, and they'll come to wherever you are. They become sort of like your horse.
Like your pet, yeah.
And they can also get, messed up by the other robots in the area, so you still need to be careful with them.
Yeah.
The one negative that I will throw in, because I want to mention negative impressions as well. The story is interesting. I'm curious to see where it goes, but the animation in the dialogue sequences is really bad.
I literally thought the same thing as we were watching that. It was one of those things where I was like, I can't tell if this is bad or if I just haven't played an action RPG in a while, and they're all like this.
It looks like the dialogue sequences in Fallout 4, which, Fallout 4, beloved game, very good for a lot of reasons, but the back and forth camera shots during dialogue look really terrible and stilted, and the animation just doesn't look. It looks very robotic. So for human characters, that's bad.
Yeah, I just got kind of a cheesy feel to it overall. But that's certainly not going to detract any of my interest for the game. I'm still very excited about this. We're going to have tons more E3 content over the week, so stay tuned to youtube.com/Polygon.